to have the distinguished presence of His Holiness Dalai Lama with us today. We are indebted to His Holiness. I express my gratitude on behalf of all of you to him for his precious time agreeing to speak to us and dialogue with us. His Holiness the Dalai Lama combines eminence, wisdom, smiles, charm, and offers solutions to humanity. His Holiness is the head of the state and spiritual leader of the Tibetan people. He was awarded Nobel Peace Prize in 1989. In his book, My Spiritual Autobiography, he makes 3 commitments in his life. Quote, a human being, for promotion of human values and those qualities of spirit that are key elements in a happy life, whether of an individual, a family, or a community. Second, a Buddhist monk, promotion of harmony among different religions, giving a message of love, compassion, tolerance, temperance, and self-disciplines. Third, as a Dalai Lama, his commitment to the cause of Tibet. He mentions that the last commitment shall come to an end as soon as mutually satisfying solution is found between Tibetans and Chinese. As for the first 2 commitments, I'll maintain them till my last breath. Unquote. In my dialogues with students, teachers, brothers and sisters from other countries and my own citizens in India, I have often mentioned that along with his book of the story of my experiences with truth by Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi and Gitanjali, an offering of songs, if any Indian or anyone anywhere in the world reads these books, it is true reflection of the ethos of India and indeed the ancient civilizations. His Holiness does not know disciplines, though he is a spiritual leader. He has held dialogues with heads of different religions and participated in many events promoting interreligious harmony and understanding. Since the mid-1980s, His Holiness has begun a dialogue with modern scientists, mainly in the fields of psychology, neurobiology, quantum physics, and cosmology. This has led to a historic collaboration between Buddhist monks and world-renowned scientists in trying to help individuals achieve peace of mind and the introduction of modern science in the traditional curriculum of Tibetan monastic institutions re-established. Universality of science is visible in the works of Albert Einstein, Schrödinger, C.V. Raman, and a few others. However, the universality of cosmos, consciousness and compassion is not so visible except in the works and teachings of human being par excellent and spiritual leader like Dalai Lama. In his autobiography, compassion emerges as most emphasized human virtue, which is having connectivity to consciousness, to society, and to cosmos. The world is experiencing a range of inequalities and thus sufferings, which refuse to be finding solutions in spite of advancements in modern science and technology. Right from the periods of ancient civilizations, such as Mohenjo-daro, Greece, Roman, Mesopotamia, the inequalities have been challenged, but these surface again and again in the form of a wide range of inequalities and sufferings. His Holiness, in his spiritual autobiography, shows the ways and the optimism. The visionary leadership of His Holiness and his passion for human well-being also echoes the dream of J.R.D. Tata, who founded NIAS in 1988. J.R.D. envisioned an institute that brings together leadership and interdisciplinary work for greater good of academic deliberations and the public consciousness, culture, education, humanities, social sciences, political sciences, economics, inequalities, climate change, energy. The life of His Holiness is an inspiration for NIAS. to work tirelessly for creating transformations and transcendence for the people in India and across the world. The NIAS Consciousness Studies program brings to its fold of study, along with cognitive neuroscience and many other disciplines, search for all that which brings about common goodness, such as compassion and well-being of human beings. On 9th December 2015, we'll be starting an international conference on consciousness, cognition and culture in the 21st century, which will be the largest conference the NIAS has organized and one of the largest the world has seen on this subject. The key questions that will be raised at this conference include those that are pertinent to the life and the works of His Holiness. Thus we are very delighted that he is amidst us before the conference to give us guidance for our pursuits during the conference. The key observation and interest His Holiness has shown for understanding fundamental human experiences and for bringing together sciences and the humanities has similarities with the goals and objectives of this institute. NIAS as an institute is not limited by disciplines, but is led by imaginative interfaces between disciplines, particularly life, physical sciences and social sciences, art and culture. NIAS wishes to present 4 unique books based on interdisciplinary studies to His Holiness Dalai Lama. These books are Dialogues Across Disciplines, Brain, Self and Consciousness, Psychological Perspectives on Children in Indian Indigenous Health Systems, Metals and Civilizations. It is with great pride that today we are starting a very distinguished series of lectures at NIAS, lectures by very distinguished people in the world who have transformed human thinking, living, aspirations and resulted in the well-being. I therefore am delighted, honored to invite and request His Holiness Dalai Lama to deliver the first NIAS Distinguished Fellow Lecture. Sir.
So indeed, I feel great honor. You invited me to talk or to share some of my own experience. I think except those old people, old brothers, sisters, to younger people, I feel some of my experience may get some sort of new, new ideas. So those older people, you already have, I think, same experiences. So it's nothing new to share with you, right? I want to sort of ask myself, what is the purpose of our life? The purpose of humanity in this planet? I think answer for first question, very purpose of our life is happy life, joyful life. I think the reason is simple. There is no guarantee about future, but we have to live on hope, no matter how difficult it is, or there will be some good things. With that hope, we keep our life. Once we completely give up our hope, then that very attitude shortens our life. Then the worst thing, then I think suicide. So therefore, we can say, very purpose of our life is for joyfulness or happy life. Now question is, yes, for happy life. Good food, good shelter, and in modern days, good car, and good television, and a mobile like that. These are, we consider the facility to give us because of the happy life, right? And then money. As a matter of fact, some my friend, I think billionaire, very rich, some American, very rich, but as a person, very unhappy person. So that shows money will not bring joyfulness, happiness. I think sometimes it seems to say, more money, more worry, more greed, like that. So then, I think according to my own experience, now you see number of scientists also now, you see, showing interest or agreement, the ultimate source of joyfulness is not material value, external value, but within our own sort of the mind. You see, the ultimate source of happiness or joyfulness. Now here, even you see, the modern scientists, you see, in the past, see, there is not yet sort of clear sort of understanding the sensorial level consciousness and the mental level consciousness. We usually call the English word consciousness or mind. I do not know. I'm not very sure the exact meaning. But the whole my English like that, you see, without knowing properly, but I use some of these words. I think in early 70, in 70s, my first visit Europe, 1973. Then visit America, 1979. So at that time, one of my translator, one professor, one American, who speak, you see, Tibetan, who understand Tibetan. So he helped me translation. So on one occasion, he told me, your English, the audience, I think, knows only half, not complete. My English is very difficult. So I'm not very sure. But, you see, usually I feel, according to Tibetan sort of word, mind or consciousness basically, you see, two categories. One is a sensorial level. That's seeing, hearing, smelling, incorrect taste, touch. So that's a sensorial level. So material values provide us some sort of satisfaction on sensorial level. Then that, any sort of joyfulness which comes from material value is very short. And then more important, sensorial level is a very comfortable sort of house and good food and good friends, music, but at the same time the person still fear or worry, too much stress, too much anxiety. So mental level, you see, these are the problems. So the mental level, suffering, pain, cannot subdue by sensorial level joyfulness. Right? So, other hand, mental level, you have joyfulness or satisfaction. And then sensorial level, even as a solid life, solitude. One time I met one Catholic monk in Barcelona, in Spain. I was told, you see, he spent 5 years in the mountain behind Montserrat temple with very little hot meal, just tea and water and bread. So he spent 5 years through such sort of solitude life. He came to see me. I have one joke. His English, I think, worse than my English. So I have more courage to speak my broken English with him. So then I sort of just chat, talk, conversation. And I asked him, I was told you spent 5 years in the mountain with a solitude life and very little sort of, because of the facilities like that. I asked, what kind of your practice or meditation during those years? And his answer, meditate on love. When he mentioned that, I noticed in his eye some special significance. So that shows, you see, mental level, joyfulness, happiness, satisfaction, then physical level, difficulties, easily subdue, overcome, like that. So therefore, this shows mental level experience is more powerful or more important than the sensorial level experience. So therefore, the material life, material values provide only physical level comfort. So we should not content on that level. We have to find ways and means to bring deeper level of consciousness, that's mental consciousness, bring some inner joyfulness. So that also is very much related with inner strength, self-confidence. So usually, besides anger, hatred, jealousy, this obviously, you see, we know, you see something negative attitude towards other. But beside that, Even if it's too much stress, worry, anxiety, related with too much self-centered attitude. Always think me, 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 me. Then, even in reality, no problem. But because of that kind of too much self-centered attitude, you see, a lot of mental projection. That brings anxiety and stress. So therefore, the warm-heartedness, or another word, compassion, is the real sort of source of the inner strength. Through that way, you see, joyfulness or inner peace come. So now when we talk about compassion or forgiveness, usually you see people consider these are religious matter. So those people who have not much interest about religion, these also not much relevant. That is a wrong view. Whether accept religion or not, that's up to individual. But even non-believers also is want happy life as a human being. So, you see, the concept of warm-heartedness is something universal value. So now here, education, temple, church, Gurdwara, I think provide us prasad, very tasteful, particularly when you feel hungry. Then pilgrimage, Gurdwara. I have to sort of confess. When since 74, I start practice pilgrimage, wherever sort of facility there, each sort of the kind of spiritual places. So then sometimes at the beginning, you see church and mosque or some other sort of spiritual place. Then afterward, it's in Gurdwara. And sometimes I feel pilgrimage to Gurdwara and hearing, you see, they are reciting their sort of the scripture. Very blessed. But my mind more concerned about the prasad. Prasad really, beside blessing, really very, very tasteful. So like that. So, so you see the teaching, wonderful. All major world religious tradition carry same message, same potential to bring inner peace through practice of love, forgiveness, tolerance, contentment, so on, self-discipline. But reality, it cannot cover 7 billion human beings. Out of 7 billion, over 1 billion non-believer. Among the believer also, there are different sort of traditions. So one tradition is they cannot cover 6 billion believers. And then, of course, non-believer. So now only hope is education. Through education, we are not talking about next life, or heaven, or hell, or for Buddhist nirvana. Not talking that. That's the individual business. The business for society. Education have very important sort of responsibility to build healthy-minded human being through education, through awareness. Now, on the basis of scientific finding, not relying on quotation of some spiritual leaders. For my own practice and a certain field, scientific sort of finding, their explanation, sometimes very, very helpful to my own practice. So therefore, you see, we already have, you see, clear sort of evidence through scientific sort of research. They already sort of concluded for healthy body, healthy family, it is very important, healthy mind. Healthy mind means calm, not agitated mind, not too much stress. So we have plenty of reasons through scientific sort of finding, and also our common experience and common sense. So we can teach our younger generation. Everybody wants happy life. So therefore, the ultimate sort of source of happiness is mental level, not sensory level. These, I think, in a way, Buddhist psychology. So I often, you see, expressing the ancient Indian psychology, highly developed, but modern Indian, a little bit neglected about these things. So actually, the ancient Indian psychology, highly developed. So compare modern psychology looks like kindergarten level. The ancient Indian psychology, highly developed. So fortunate or unfortunate, the ultimate, also real source of this knowledge from India. But our Indian gurus not much pay attention about these things. So we, as a Chela, now over 1,000 years, we kept intact this knowledge. So, our sort of long-time friend, the French sort of scientist, he knows. You see, we Tibetan Buddhist scholars, you see, when we sit together with the modern scientists, so there are plenty of things to discuss, to share each other, like that. So therefore, in a way, as a Tibetan, it's fortunate. We kept your knowledge. In a way, unfortunate, is the real source of this knowledge, our Indian guru, now neglected. Only some rituals, some prayer. So now that I publicly, quite often, you see, mentioning existing modern education system, very much oriented about material value, as I mentioned before. So not much pay attention about our deeper human psychology or system of our mind or emotion, according to Indian psychology, right? Or knowledge or science of mind. Not sufficient to pay attention. Now these, I think, should include in modern education as a field. So actually we are working, you see, with full cooperation with some American scientists and educationists. Now in Delhi, some Indian universities also now showing some interest in these things. So we are already working, making draft curriculum about secular ethics, which can fit in secular education field, like that. So this institution, I hope more research on this work. I think very, very helpful, very useful. Then, in terms of happy world, also you see now related these things. Everybody, every continent, people, generally see people really express need peace. I think in early part of 20th century is when nation declare war. I think every citizen of that nation, without question, proudly join war effort. Now that completely changed. One nation, when you see declare some war, some violence, and then I think many citizens of that country now express rejection. I think since Vietnam War, and then many, violence take place. Now, for example, I think Iraq War started. I think millions of people express ending war, ending violence. So these, I think, sign the people now more and more sort of enthusiasm. We want peace. It is quite logical. Once war starts, the sufferer, those poor people, the people who create war, they somehow, you see, they survived, not much suffer. And then people on the street, poor people, old people, women, young children, they suffer most. Sometimes I jokingly express, now modern technology, modern scientists, I think should produce one bullet. You see, I think heat-seeking something, isn't it? Usually we already have, seeking laser. No? So similarly, you see the bullet, you see goes, the person who actually created this problem, go hit. Then I think wonderful. Not hitting on innocent people. Isn't it? So that I think difficult. So the missions, weapons, no consciousness, no ability distinction, who are really troublemaker and innocent. So then people suffer a lot. Now the Syrian sort of situation, Iraq, Iran, this area. So many of these refugees, young children and mother and old people, really very sad, very sad. So in order to create peaceful world, weapons will not bring peace. Money also, economy also not necessarily bring peace. Since you see problem, violence start from here. Anger, hatred, suspicion, distrust. So that brings violence. So we have to tackle the ultimate source of violence. That's warm-heartedness. So therefore, education, I think, should pay more attention about ultimate source of inner peace, individual level as well as humanity level. When we talk humanity, combination of individual. So firstly, individual, you see, should create inner peace. Then, with one person, share with 10 people, your friend. Then 100 people, then 1,000, 10,000, 100,000. Through that way, change of humanity's way of life, way of thinking. So, the education is key factor to change our world, bring happy world. So I usually used to describe the two generations, generation of now quite warm. Generation of 20th century and the generation of 21st century. So generation of 20th century, that's my generation. So among the audience, I think quite a number. We are same sort of category, the generation of 20th century. So our century already gone. Whether happy century or sort of miserable century, already gone. Now nobody can change that. Now 21st century, I said the 15 years past, the remaining years yet to come. So future always possible to change. So the generation of 21st century, you have opportunity, make better world, and later part of this 21st century, more peaceful, more harmony, more compassionate century, then you will enjoy. When you become old, then you get the world, happy world. And then you can blame all the mistakes, all the suffering, point to generation of 20th century. They create a lot of problem. So you should feel proud. We built new century, happy world. And the generation of 20th century, they really spoiled the peaceful world, including Dalai Lama. So that's very good. Thank you. So now I prefer interaction, right? Interaction, questions and suggestions and criticism. Very good. Here as a sort of the academic sort of center. So we trained as a Nalanda sort of student, right? Nalanda, follower of Nalanda institution. So we train logic. When we study logic, a lot of argument. So although I am quite lazy student when I carry study, but however, I have little knowledge here. So I want to show you this knowledge through argument. Okay. And then also is it one monk there, also good scholar, like that. So, thank you. And comment, and suggestion, and also criticism. You should feel completely informed. You should feel we are talking within your own family. So no need for formality, no need much sort of anxiety. Whatever you feel, you can talk.
Sir, okay. How you can create the solitude in the midst of the work?
Huh?
How you can create the solitude? You are talking about the solitude earlier. How we can create solitude in the midst of the work? Because it is very difficult for us to renounce the work.
Karsa. Yes, I think obviously major portion of human being spend solitude sort of life or meditation. Then I think we will face starvation. So we should have, the majority of the people should work hard, productive work, including children. We as a monk is no children. If majority of human beings become nuns and monks, then I think I think that's the best way to control also the population. So, but you see, people who sort of normal sort of way of life and working in various different kind of work, you see, at least, you see, morning, I think 1 hour, or at least you see, half an hour, there is something, some analyze about life, about those points which I mentioned, ultimate source of happiness or satisfaction. Think. That's we call meditation. Meditation, not necessarily you sit there like that and close eyes, not that. There are two kinds of meditation. One meditation we call shamatha or samadhi. It's single-pointed meditation. That we need certain sort of physical posture and like that. But another sort of meditation, that's vipassana, analytical meditation. That's many scientists, actually, or the researchers, actually sort of practice that sort of analytical meditation. So therefore, we say analyze, not just the external thing, about our internal, about nature of anger, nature of consciousness, nature of mind, and ultimately nature of self. So then you see the two, the concept, Atma, concept of Atma and the concept of Anatma. So quite interesting to analyze like that. You see, so at least half an hour or 1 hour in the morning. And for that, you see, you should go to bed a bit earlier, not midnight, till midnight. Then difficult. So maybe necessary sacrifice some of the nightclub life. So normally, sometimes I sort of jokingly telling people, if you accept Creator, God, then God creates day and night. So day means study or working. Night means rest. So modern life, one occasion I was in Berlin, the room, the hotel where they arranged my sort of stay. See, about afternoon, 8 o'clock, 7, 8 o'clock, I now ready to go to sleep. Then just you see, the direct sort of opposite, the part of the hotel. You see some, I think, hall. You see some light, blue, red, and like that. We can see from outside. Then meantime, music, like that. Then about midnight, I wake up, still going on, Then about 4 o'clock morning, I get up. Usually I 3 or 3:30 or 4, I always get up. So they still carry like that. So then I think the next daytime, I think they may sleep, I think. So that's, I think these people should not follow properly about God's plan, day and night. So you may need some sacrifice. This is some nightclub life like that. Otherwise, you see, 6, 7 hours sleep, and then morning, fresh, and think. Then when your age reach retirement, then you have plenty of time to think these things. So it is important to familiarize at young age. Then when you become old, it's a physical weak, but mentally, because of you familiarize these thinking, still remain sharp. So like that. So retirement, sometimes I found some of my friends, when they working some position, very smart, after retired. So you see, I think like you see, always utilize your brain. Although you see your hair become very white. You see, because of your sort of such work, I think when you reach very old, I think your mind still sharp and good. So retirement in any way will come, whether you like it or not. So then, you see, usually you see people because of the reserve, and reserve some money when you deposit or when you reach retirement. So similarly, I think mental sort of quality, mental energy, also you see same way, sort of preserve through training, through use more sort of intellectual sort of thinking. Then, when you are getting old, I think myself also, you see, physically now it's difficult to even to move, sometimes difficult. But mind, except you see, sometimes now one indication, remember about different name. Usually, I'm not much pay attention about different name. So my computer here sometimes you see not well recorded about the name, difficult to remember. But the meaning, certain point, my mind still very clear. As a result of training, thinking. Yes? Next question?
Holiness, I would like to ask you a difficult question. I recently were in Paris where there were these terrible attacks, and we realized that the young people who were doing that they had their mind changed in 2 months to become very violent. So I was wondering whether there is something we can do in order to revert their mind to go back to a loving and peaceful state of mind. Is there something we can do for that?
I often now telling, you see, including Tenzin, well-known scientist, brain specialist, and some other sort of scientist. You see, they carry experiment. You see, what kind of reaction from very, very young sort of the infants. Few month old infants, say 3 months, 4 months. Language not yet developed. So to such young infant, you see, showing cartoon, one cartoon, 2 children play together affectionately. When the infant, a few months old, the person, the child, seeing that friendly attitude, response, smile, joyful. And then another cartoon, 2 children, you see, harming each other with a negative attitude. When seeing that, the young, very, very young infant showing a little bit of distance attitude. So this, and then other sort of, they are finding through experiment. The conclusion is, basic human nature is more loving kindness. I think one important sort of finding is the constant anger, hatred, eating our immune system. So too much stress, also you see, very harmful for our body. So our very body is very much related with positive emotion, constructive emotion. So conclusion, basic human nature is more compassionate. When I heard that, I really felt this is real basis of our hope. If basic human nature is negative, then very difficult to create happy humanity. Basic loving kindness nature. So there is real possibility to create happier humanity, peaceful humanity. So I think the environment, surrounding situation makes differences. So existing sort of lifestyle is more materialistic lifestyle. Or culture also, more materialistic cultural heritage. So this, I think, long run, we have to make sort of effort to change culture of non-violence, culture of compassion through education. I think we can create. Then I think one way, educate people through education. These inner values are important. That also, you see, the sort of inner value through familiarization. Then you see can change. So those children, not out of training or awareness, but by nature more sort of compassionate, then all of a sudden change. That's because lack of familiar these things. So once we sort of through awareness, once we develop more conviction about this inner value, and then familiarize these things, then will not affect due to the circumstances or external sort of environment. That's my view. And as a professor, you see, Buddhist university concept. There's some sort of traces or imprints from previous life like that. That also make differences. Okay. Then, yes.
His Holiness, my prostrations at the lotus feet of His Holiness, and my question is on Holiness's personal life. You were anointed the Dalai Lama at an age.
Oh yes.
At an age when you could not decide anything about your life. You were very small when you were anointed the Dalai Lama, and probably the responsibility of the office was so, and how you would advise the current generation where the individuality is, much more assertive, where we think that, we have to make a choice, and we many times even have regret for whatever situation we have in our life. So what is the advice of the Holiness to the current generation, younger generation?
Yes. I born a very remote village as a normal human being. Now, almost 81-year-old, another normal old human being. We are same. You see, you should not consider, Dalai Lama, or holy person, or something unusual. If that is true, then my experience no relevant to you. You see, my own sort of view, when some people you see praising Buddha and some other sort of great sort of spiritual leaders like Nagarjuna, there is something very unusual. Then I feel that's not much helpful. But consider even Buddha as a human being, then give me immense sort of inspiration. Same human being, but through training, through practice, becomes something very unusual person. Like Nagarjuna, you see, when he born, some sort of, astrologers, is mentioned, this young boy, only 1 week life. And then some sort of medication or some other things, then 7 months, then 7 years, like that. So, very innocent sort of boy. And then through training, through study, through learning, become, also something great sort of philosopher or practitioner. So, see, we should, I always telling people, I am just another human being. No special things. So therefore, even I have some special things. That's my secret. I do not want to share with you. So actually nothing. So therefore you see, as I mentioned earlier, I heard the value of compassion, altruism, quite young age, but I have not much interest, not much enthusiasm. But then my age, 17, 18, 19, then situation become very complicated, very difficult, a lot of anxiety. So then I feel these practice really useful to keep my mind more calm mind. And then come to India, reach India as a refugee. I further sort of study and also getting some oral transmissions, these sorts of teachings. One example, 1967, I received one important text, oral transmission from one, you see, Neki, from because of the Kunu area. Great sort of master. I received teaching from him. The Shantadeva's book, Kasa Bodhisattva Jaya Avatara. The original Sanskrit is still available. So that, you see, explain about how to practice tolerance, forgiveness, and how to develop infinite altruism. That immense help for me. So since then, I can say it's my life change. So therefore, I always try to share according to my own experience. You see, the other people, irrespective whether believer or non-believer, as I mentioned earlier, basic human nature, more loving, kind nature. So therefore, this teaching is relevant, like that. So I always tell, sharing these things. So that's my limited experience, like that. Now nearly 81 years old, but physical, basically, quite good, very good. The doctors say that this knees problem, so one of my German specialists, after check, you see, he mentioned, now you are not 18-year-old person, but 80-year-old person. So cannot do much. This is the sort of natural sort of process of your body. But still my mind quite clear. So my practice of altruism or karuna fail to bring healthy knees, but healthy mind. Okay, mind is more important. Even you see, eventually, I may go here and there on the wheelchair. Okay, but still my mind, so long my mind clear, then I can continuously carry blah 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 like that. Yes, next question. Yes.
Namaste. All religions teach very good ethics, but there are so many atrocities created, atrocities also done in the name of religion. How do we explain this dichotomy?
Chukasa. Yes, it appears like that. Actually, those, I think usually the follower of different religious tradition, our faith mixed with attachment. So, the too much attachment, your own faith, then your mind biased. So I cannot just pronounce that name, very difficult. So you see, he actually teacher of the late Varela, another Chilean scientist, great scientist. I think you may know. Later part of his life, he's lived in Paris. He carries some sort of work, I think, map of brain or something. Great scientist. So his teacher, one of his teacher. At that meeting, that great scientist is there, and he mentioned at the conference, at the meeting, he, as a physicist, so he should not develop attachment towards his own scientific field. When I heard that, I immediately felt, I am Buddhist. I should not develop attachment towards Buddhism. Wonderful. Once you develop, faith combined with attachment, then your mental attitude becomes biased. And then here also, I often you see mentioning the concept of one truth, one religion. And you see, for individual practitioner, that's a very important concept of one truth, one religion. But if you really carry on community level, one truth, one religion, then you see, there are different mental disposition. Whether you like it or not, there are different institutions there. So the reality, several truth, several religion, there. That's the reality. So now, some kind of adjustment, yes. Adjustment is, in the terms of individual, concept of one truth, one religion is relevant. Very helpful to keep your single-pointed faith and more enthusiasm to practice. In the terms of community, the concept of several truth, several religion is relevant. It's a reality. So you see, those people, firstly, I think, too much sort of believe one truth, one religion. So want to impose other people also. It's the same truth or same religion. Then one's own religion, too much attachment. So your mental attitude becomes biased. So you cannot see the value of other tradition. And in the past history, you see, the one group of religion, because of the group of one religion, and sometimes you see try to eliminate the other believers. It happened. So therefore, you see, the problem is pluralism in the religion. That's the reality, and that kind of attitude is a realistic attitude that we have to accept is that reality. So that also, I think, depends on wider contact. The Indian religious people, you see, usually quite open. From childhood, they already know there are different traditions there. Like that. In Malaysia also, I found, because there are a large number of Buddhists, because there's a large number of Chinese businessmen, so most of them Buddhist, and Indonesia as well, and Malaysia also number of Hindus there. So the Malaysian Muslim, they already know there are different traditions. So those of Muslim country, a little bit isolated, lack of contact with other tradition, then quite easily is develop, say, just because they one truth, one religion, and here also too much attachment. Then what you call fundamentalist. These people happen. And at the same time, I think a lot of problem, not only today, but also in the past history. I think the conflict in the name of religion, I think main cause is power or economy, not necessarily religious belief. And then people, I think Northern Ireland, Catholics, Protestant, there's some difficult relations, mainly political relations. So I have some few occasions to visit Northern Ireland. I express now your problem, very much sort of mixed religious faith and political. So should make distinction. The political matter, let government, concerned government, let them solve. They should not use the name of religion, Catholicism and Protestant, like that. So as a people, on the level of people, you see, should respect both sort of religions. So one occasion, was in the local, the welcome committee, they arranged my meeting with some victims of two groups. When I entered that room, before enter, some organizer warned me, there might be some shouting or some negative sort of attitude, might be. They're warning me. And then I also a little bit so because of the anxiety. When I enter the room, you see, quite tense. All the victims, the face, quite angry face. Then we sit down and start some because of my talking, some discussions. Then their face, tense sort of atmosphere, become more warmer. And we together have lunch. Then everybody joy, laughing like that. So that's human nature. Certain circumstances and the information and the impression, you see, develop certain attitude. Then they sit together as a human brothers, sisters, then talk, then basic human nature, then become more more obvious, like that. So like that, I think we really need more wider contact among different people. So like interfaith sort of service, very useful, very helpful. Nowadays, is in Syria, Iran, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, these most of them Muslim countries. So Shia, Sunni, these Muslim community, Muslim faith. I think, I really hopeful the Indian Muslims, I think, should take some active role to bring more closer relations with these, Muslim community. And then also, you see, now I think His Holiness Pope visited some African states, and he, I think, made pilgrimage to one mosque. Wonderful, such work. I think wonderful.
Two questions there.
Yes, next question? Oh, yes.
With my deepest salutations to Your Holiness.
Oh, yes.
I wanted to ask one question. You referred to education.
Yes.
And in the education, there is one component, even if we take the pluralism of the religions, all the religions have certain common aspects. Something in which all the religions agree.
Yes.
Now, even in those values, which are common to all religions, when we try, particularly the advanced thinking educational institutions, to bring about a commonality of thinking, there is a very great difficulty because they attach it with some non-pluralism religionism. I hope I have put my... That is, even the common values are not accepted. In the, let us say, calling it as academic freedom to think. Of course there is academic freedom. But within the framework of the common values of the religions, we can still make some progress on the basis of the values that you have indicated. So we are not questioning. It is absolutely agreed that pluralism of religion is necessary, but we are not talking of religion, but we are talking of the common values, which are almost, you can say, a common LCM of all the religions. So we have difficulty. This was some of the experience I had while dealing with educational efforts. Thank you very much.
For a short moment, now I want to appear, looks like a Muslim. Muslim JD. Sometimes I met some Muslim groups from, I think, different Muslim country. Many of them lady. So I also used to put my own kasa robe. It looks like Muslim lady. So then everybody laughed now like that. So you see, your question. Actually, all major religious tradition. You see, I think an important part is two aspects. One, religious aspect. One, philosophical aspect. Religious aspect, as you mentioned, all carry same message of love, forgiveness, tolerance, like that. Then, second part, philosophical views. It seems to me, maybe wrong. You see, people, religious, follow religion. You see, too much emphasis about faith, rather than deeper sort of knowledge about different philosophical views. So then, you see, just faith. For example, theistic religion, you see, just faith towards God or Allah or some other God, creators, different name. Not much pay attention about practice of love, forgiveness, tolerance. that faith also combined with attachment. I think that, I think something, you see, I think people, including religious leaders, I think should pay more attention about the philosophical part, essence of the religion, not just faith. Actually, single-pointed faith meant for practice of compassion. I feel that. More faith towards Creator, towards God, towards Allah. You need more effort, practice of love, compassion. Okay. This is my, maybe wrong. I did one occasion in Australia. This is my talk. Some, I think, local priest, I think, two priests there. So I mentioned at that time, you see, I am talking some Vietnamese Buddhist group, and they invited two Christian sort of priest also is there. So I mentioned that. See, the difference of, the theistic religious, so the single-pointed faith towards God is method to bring more enthusiasm, more sort of determination to practice love, compassion. So I think actually the concept of God, Creator, is very, very powerful. You see, to bring, you see, the enthusiasm to follow God, to practice love, kindness, or forgiveness like that. Actually, according to theistic religion, God as a creator, almost like our Father. So our Father, infinite love. So we are son or daughter of that kind of creator. So think more that, you see, automatically you see develop some kind of enthusiasm. Oh, I must follow my father's sort of pattern, like that. And also you see some sort of conviction. We also have the seed of infinite love because our Father, infinite love. So then, I usually see that whenever I participate in interfaith sort of meeting, I make clear that the philosophical field, there's differences. But then we have to ask, what is the purpose of this different philosophy? Same aim, same goal, to strengthening the conviction about value of compassion. Like theistic religion, as I mentioned earlier, you see, brings conviction or enthusiasm to practice love, because our Father, our Creator, like that. And then non-theistic law of causality. If you do good for others, you get benefit. If you create some harm for others, you get negative consequences. So that law of causality also is a very powerful approach, level approach to bring the enthusiasm. I should not harm other people because you say I have to face negative consequences. You see, try to help others as much as possible because to say I want happy life like that. So different approach according to people who have different mental disposition, but same goal, same aim. So that's the place where all religious tradition can live together, work together, and mutual respect, mutual acquisition, and mutual learning. Many of my Christian friends, we often discuss about the practice of karuna or practice of love, forgiveness, these things, and also single-pointed meditation. These are common practice. So I quite often discuss. And one day, my Christian fellow, President, because of that, spiritual brother, because of Father Wayne, now he's no longer. So one occasion, he asked me about shunyata, emptiness. Then I told him, don't ask this is not your business. This is Buddhist business. I really felt, to discuss about, shunyata. Then unless you have sort of more deeper, wider sort of understanding, there is sort of danger, nihilism, nothing. So that may harm his sort of single point of faith towards God. According to that philosophical views, Buddha also, relative, no absolute, nothing absolute. So that may harm his sort of single point of faith. So I told him, don't ask that. That's not your business. There was one occasion in Paris, one day, I think leader, I think Catholic, we met, and he tried, he explained, it looks like he tried to convince me to create. And then, of course, I politely listened, but deep inside, I felt useless. Why? Sort of thoroughly I trained or learned. There's no creator. Particularly like the Pramana Vartika Kariga, second chapter, a lot of explanation. So as a student of that sort of chapter, that book, it's difficult to accept creed. So similarly, I always feel no use, to explain some unique, because of the Buddhist way of thinking, some unique thing. No use. I always say emphasis, it is much better to keep one's own traditional religion, traditional faith. It's more fit, more suitable. Otherwise, change the religious faith. And sometimes, among my some friends also, I notice eventually it creates more confusion. So it is much safer, much better, keep one's own faith. Okay. Yes?
Oh, Mani Padmeham.
Oh, Mani Padmeham. Okay.
Why is
Do you know meaning?
Yes, jewel in the lotus.
And that's what meaning.
That's all I know. My question is, why is it easy to learn bad habits and very difficult to learn good habits?
As I mentioned earlier, biologically, I think affection is part of our body, because we're born from our mother, and we survived with mother's affection, parents' affection, particularly mother's affection, with the mother's milk. So if our two parents, full of anger, no possibility, our survival. With full of love, we survived. 7 billion human beings survived because of immense affection from our mother, from our parents. So I feel that's more nature of a human being, not anger. Anger, as a defense for one's own survival, come. And at a certain level, it worked. Expel the thing which harmful to you, expel. So in order to carry forceful action, anger related. But basic nature, more dominant force, our whole life is love, not anger. As I mentioned earlier, I think when we visit hospital, you see, no doctor advises us you should have more angry, because more anger is good for your health. Nobody's in that. Calm, relax. Relax means, you see, too much anger. While mentally, too much anger, you never have the meaningful relax. Relax means calm mind, but then relax. So real relax means calm mind, not physical relax. The comfortable bed or house, remain relaxed, suppose physically relaxed, but mentally too much worry, too much stress, too much anger, never be relaxed. So relax means calm mind. Okay, so anger destroys our calm mind. Too much love, biased love with attachment sometimes create more anxiety, more worry. But genuine love, not that kind. So we have to make distinction. Biological factor, certain biased mixture with attachment, that kind of love, and genuine love, there's a difference. Genuine love, through practice, through training, through listening. I think, roughly speaking, we can say certain love, you see, biological factor is biased usually, very much mixed with attachment. These are spontaneously come because biological factor. Then that biological factor love take as a seed, then use reasons or awareness, pros, cons. Then you see you develop more conviction through training, and then you can develop certain level of compassion or love that's unbiased. So that kind of love can extend towards your enemy. The biological factor love only towards your friend, not enemy side. Okay. Yes. Yeah.
Do you think that philosophy of modern science is moving towards philosophy of ancient traditions?
What's that? Modern. Many years ago, perhaps you, I think, may know the great nuclear physicist, the Raja Ramana. You know, I think.
This is Raja Ramana. This is Raja Ramana.
Oh, hello. I really admire your late husband, Raja Ramana. So one occasion in New Delhi, some sort of gathering, and I met Raja Ramana. He told me, quantum physics in modern world, this is something new concept. But he found some of the writing of Nagarjuna, he found the concept of quantum physics. So he, as an Indian, he felt very proud as an Indian. So this new concept of quantum physics in this country, 2000 years ago, already developed that concept. So recently in Delhi, Jawaharlal Nehru University, you see, we already have one sort of conference with scientists, including this French scientist. You see, we discuss the quantum physics, and the Buddhist one, I think, one much more, complicated Buddhist concept, Madhyamika philosophy. So there are many similarities. I think it seems to me the quantum physicists, you see, they found, you see, nothing, objectively nothing. Investigate. And they will confuse. What else there? This is true. According to according to the quantum physicist, no existence of this solid thing. But it worked. Then there's sort of dilemma. What is the reality? So this sort of dilemma, I think in Nalanda institution, I think at least a few centuries, this dilemma there. Then further investigate. Then, like Nagarjuna and Buddha and Chandrakirti, they made, I think, a very precise conclusion. Nothing objectively can find. But that does not mean nothingness. But there is something. That's just mere designation. It worked like that. So that's very subtle level of sort of divination. Things does not exist as appears when you look at me, or there is real living Dalai Lama. When I look at you, on old professors there, it is true, not illusion. Find some sort of usefulness about concept of Atman, then better to keep that view. I think 2 years ago, here in Bengaluru, you see, I met one, Swamiji, a wonderful Swami. You see, very much actively helping, providing meals to few thousand school children, like that. Wonderful. And I had some sort of conversation. And I told him, as far as practice of Shila, Samadhi, Prajna, or Vipassana is concerned, Hindus and Buddhists, same practice. The problem, or the differences, is concept of Atman and Anatma. So I told him, that's our private business. I found Anatma theory is very useful, so I believe that. You found Atma theory is more useful, so you believe that. So it is our private business. So no problem. So like that. So you see, the quantum physics, I think they're quite similar. Not completely the same, but there are similarities like that. And then also you see, one serious Buddhist concept, one school of thought, you see, say, when observer there, no longer observer, no observer also not there. So simultaneous. So simultaneously. So that also is one Buddhist school of thought. Chitta Mantra, mind-only school of thought. You see, to explain that. So nothing, external things, does not exist externally. Only mental projection, mental reflection, like that. Okay. Now one lady there. Now you are generation of 21st century. Yes. Good.
His Holiness, my question is regarding compassion and forgiveness. When a particular individual practices forgiveness and compassion, even countries for that matter, in the long run they are taken advantage of and they are taken advantage of and they are not taken seriously. And in the long run, how does one deal with that?
We have to make distinction. The person who creates trouble for you, person, and his action, person as an actor, and his sort of harmful attitude towards you is his action, his or her action. So actor and action, we have to make a distinction. For example, when we confess, at that moment we make distinction. I now realize that's a mistake, so I would like to confess. So at that moment you make distinction. Your wrongdoing and yourself. So similarly, towards your troublemaker who take advantage on you, as far as their action is concerned, sometimes we need countermeasure to stop their wrongdoing without losing anger. Still keep compassionate attitude. So this is very possible. Out of sense of concern, their well-being, make effort to stop their wrongdoing for long run, their own sort of benefit. If let their wrongdoing left continuously, they create more problem. Eventually, they have to face consequences. So out of sense of concern of their well-being, take countermeasure, including, you see, they bring to court, like that. So it is quite easy to make distinction, like that. So sometimes, you see, we sort of misunderstand forgiveness, tolerance. You accept whatever they've done. That's wrong. Okay. So here, we have to make distinction. Anger sometimes bring swift sort of action. So, but anger, you see, positive anger, negative anger, you see, you have to judge the related other emotions out of sense of concern or karuna, and some in order to bring swift action, some anger. That anger is positive. That really ill feeling, out of ill feeling, anger comes. That's negative. So therefore, it is quite important. We have to study the science of emotion, science of emotion. Or firstly, you see the wisdom. That's what is science. As also, we already, you see, have a sort of also the series of study about the science of matters. Now, similarly, we need science of mind is equally very important. So, as I mentioned earlier, ancient Indian sort of knowledge about mind, quite detailed, quite deep. So, this I think we already now forget, neglect. So, in order to make distinction, subtle level, we have to know, we should have more fuller knowledge about system of emotion. And sometimes I call map of emotion. That's important. So recently, one of the Delhi University, we already discussed, I think 2 days, 2 days, 3 days, right? 2 days I think. You also want speaker. You see, about quantum physics and Buddhist Millennium philosophy. And then I suggested that next year, one of the university hopefully we should organize another meeting about mind, about emotion. So there, and modern psychologist, like that. So eventually, I think like this institution also can organize. Here one advantage is very near big monastic institutions in Karnataka state, at least, you see, major learning centers exist in this state. So very easy. Few hours drive from Bengaluru and Bengaluru. So like that. There are, I think, over 1,000, almost 10,000 monk students, and many of them good scholars. Up to now, only problem is language problem and not much interaction. So now, you see, more and more people who can speak English or Hindi, so now some younger people, this is who also now some knowledge, like mine broken English, broken Hindi or broken Malacca, Kannada, like that. So in any way, I think one university, currently, Bengaluru University, last few years, quite close sort of contact with one important college of Sarchi Monastery, Sarchi College, like that. So it is quite sort of helpful, quite useful. So actually all our knowledge come from India. Ancient Indian tradition, ancient Indian knowledge. The difference is we, I think through generations, the best brained Tibetan, they focusing all their energy, all their the mind concentrated on different philosophical views, these things. So we kept that way. So modern India, many subjects. So you see, anyway, too much westernized. So the neglect about these ancient your knowledge, like that. So so therefore, you see, I think now I really see, feel more and more traditionally our Guru, the Indian, now showing more and more interest about 1,000-year-old your own tradition, which we kept intact. So perhaps as the time come, we handed over all your ancient knowledge we kept over 1,000 years. Now time come, share with you. Anyway, quite so strange. Ancient time, 8th century, 9th century, from Narendra masters, we learned at that time, you acting like Guru with each other. Now, 21st century, Chela become Guru. Guru become Chela. Like that. It's, I think, our common responsibility to preserve this knowledge. And this knowledge, not only just ancient knowledge, but very relevant to today's world. World, you say, in some extent, a lot of hatred, a lot of ignorance, want happy life, but created a lot of problem ourselves. I often see expressing, you see, whenever we face some problem, we pray to God or pray to Buddha. If we have opportunity to see Buddha or God or Jesus Christ, I think they may tell us All these problems, you created. You human being created, not God created. So, it is your responsibility to solve this problem, not God's responsibility. So God creates peaceful, happy world. And out of kindness, out of infinite love, God also is give us free will. So we use wrong way. So it is our responsibility. So if you say, I am Buddhist, I say Buddha, if I met Buddha, oh please bring peace, world, peace, bring Buddhist world and Tibet. I think we, through generations, pray. But frankly speaking, nothing happened. So now almost you see, sometimes we feel, you see, oh now, Buddha, or karma, or truth, doubtful. We carry honestly our whole life, you see, very simple way, our life simplicity, and serious sort of practice or study, but fail. So some people, you see, develop some doubt, like that. So therefore, I think everything, all this problem, you see, we created. So logically, we also have the ability, since we have the ability to create this problem. So naturally, logically, we also have the ability to reduce this problem, eventually eliminate this problem, isn't it? Global warming is out of our control, difficult, isn't it? Do you feel okay? Professor, feel okay? Okay. Yes, another lady.
So firstly, my pranams to His Holiness. Following up on what you have been guiding us all this while in this lecture. Children, we are following the Western way of education. I have also gone to a Western kind of convent school, learned to earn a living. That's what I have been doing, and the child is also following the same path. We have lost our traditional values to a great extent. So earning a living is fine, but earning a life, living the life, has become very difficult. What is your message, especially to us and children? What would be your message? And how can we improve our quality of life as opposed to quality of living in the modern world, in India?
Firstly, I think 7 billion human beings, we all have same potential, inner values, as well as also knowledge, or also the knowledge which have a modern education or technology, these things. So then particularly India, traditionally, you have the practice of ahimsa, tradition. Then with that, religious harmony. Now those traditions, those knowledge, is your knowledge. Only thing is, pay more attention in order to revive this knowledge. So then you can combination, modern technology, material value, with inner value, with sophisticated ancient Indian philosophy, Indian knowledge. You have as an opportunity. You not bring something outside, but simply revive your own traditional value, traditional knowledge. So I'm very happy. You see, now more and more Indian students now really showing interest. So this really, I think, is the hopeful sign, right sign. So should not expect some kind of miracles. Nothing. I don't believe in miracle. Some people claim they have some kind of healing power, I really doubt. One time in London, because of expressway, Edward Hall, Royal Edward or something, one of my talk, you see, then because of that, I had a question, maybe a question or something. You see, I very much because of the skeptical attitude about the healing power. So then I told, if there is real sort of the healing power there, then I would like to show, you see, my sort of lot of itching at that time, a lot of itching. So I want to cure that itching through healing power. I doubt. I expressed that. The next day, I received some ointment to cure my sort of this. That's real power, not healing power, but real medicine. So like that. So therefore, sometimes I think, frankly speaking, maybe sinful, but I feel, you see, they say miracle power or something. I think it deceives us. We should be realistic. We should believe action, not just a prayer, just a miracle, something that's not good. So Buddha stated to us, my follower, bhikshus, scholars, should not accept my teaching out of faith, out of devotion, but rather thorough investigation and experiment. So many Narendra masters follow that way. I also try to follow that way. Even Buddha's own word, if it goes against reasons or experience, then we have right to reject.
Salutations to His Holiness. Today I discovered that gratitude is the most overwhelming word, because I have no words to express my gratitude personally and the gratitude of people served. So I am fetching words for the word gratitude, so I can only say salutations to you. You said that some of the words which you say may not have meaning, but I haven't discovered a better meaning for the word meaning by your presence, the sacredness and the holiness which you have shared with this institute. I don't think there has been such a sacred moment in the history of this institute. I can't remember one, but I think the word which His Holiness said about meaning and using other very transforming ideas such as compassion and argument are so central. So the very word meaning carries meaning when it is surrounded and filled with compassion and argument. We are starting an international conference on consciousness on 9th December, 2 days from now. And I think this conference is to attain newer heights of meaning guided by what you have said. And I'm glad to have Professor Michel Bidball, Ralph Abraham, Gyatso, and others who are speakers at this conference. So on behalf of the director of this institute, Dr. Baldev Raj, Mr. R.K. Krishnakumar from Tata Trust, the associates of this institute, the faculty, students, and everybody who are friends of this institute, and all of you, we offer our humblest salutations to you. And as I said, we have no words for gratitude, so we can only stay silent for a few moments. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And a small announcement, please. His Holiness will be leaving in a couple of moments. We request you not to leave this auditorium, and please, we will express our respect by allowing him to leave first, and then we leave. Thank you so much for your patience.
Very simple.